It's that time again for the Relax Your Fine Hero Guide. I am PhysicsMathMan, and this week we will cover Mughal Khan, the Axe's abilities, roles, and item choices. Unlike most heroes, Axe actually wants you to try and kill him, but you will be remorseful when you do. He is an invaluable tank initiator for your team, able to lane just about anywhere, and easily comes online with only a blink dagger. Let's discuss his skill set. Berserker's Call is a small area disable which forces all units near Axe to attack him for a given amount of time. During the call, Axe receives a whopping 40 armor, making him nearly immune to physical damage. Equipped with a blink dagger, this move is one of the best initiations in the game. Two side notes are that it goes through spell immunity and can be used to pull hero enemies into precarious positions. Battle Hunger, his second move, is a damage over time spell that does a fair amount of damage early on. The affected enemy must either kill a unit, hero, or tower, or suffer the full duration of the spell. A very important aspect of this spell is that it places a 12% slow debuff on the enemy, while giving Axe a 12% increased movement speed. This is extremely effective as the full duration debuff happens at level 1, and it makes chase downs much easier, especially in the early game before you obtain your blink dagger. Counter Helix is what gives Axe the ability to jungle and be a threat in lane. Every time Axe is hit by a physical attack, there's a chance that he does a small AoE spin, damaging everything nearby. Counter Helix follows a pseudo-random distribution, and does have a small delay in which the next one can proc. In any case, it is Axe's main source of damage throughout the game. Finally, his ultimate, Culling Blade, is what makes Axe notorious. The skill itself does a set amount of damage, however, if the enemy is below a certain threshold of health, Axe will smash them to bits immediately, purging all buffs and killing them. Not go on cooldown, and Axe and all nearby friendly units will gain a buff which increases both attack and movement speed by a significant amount. A tip on landing Culling Blade is to check your enemy's HP bar before using it. Alternatively, you can also go into the Dota console command and change it so that each interval represents exactly the amount that each level of Culling Blade is required before the threshold is met. You want to set it to 125 damage per interval, which means 2, 3, and 4 ticks for the thresholds of level 1, 2, and 3 Culling Blade. The most common Axe skill build is to max Counter Helix first. It's your most damaging spell, and more importantly, it's your farming tool and lane winner. We will prioritize Berserker's Call second since it's Axe's primary disable, which sets up for Counter Helix beatdowns. A quick side note, as an alternative build, if you're laning Axe, sometimes it can be extremely powerful to max out the Battle Hunger, especially if this is followed up with an Urn for max damage over time. The goal of Axe in the early game is to quickly obtain the gold for Tranquil Boots and then a blink dagger. Even though you can go anywhere, he is commonly played either in the jungle or the hard lane. If you do choose to go into the lane, Axe is best utilized as a hyper-aggressive laner, often running at the enemy heroes and zoning them with Counter Helix with the threat of a Berserker's Call. He can skip behind the enemy towers and farm a wave easily, effectively pressuring the enemy's safe laners and possibly snagging offensive jungle farm as well. Axe is an amazing offlaner when combined with a laning support such as Dazzle or Abaddon. The mid-game starts when the blink dagger is obtained. From here, you should roam around to other lanes looking for blink calls on enemies which are near their creep waves. This will give a higher chance of Counter Helix procs, which leads to a finishing Culling Blade. If you can't set up a situation where you get multiple spins, Axe will lack the damage to perform solo kills, but he can easily kill with another support's assistance. Another mid-game goal is to push multiple towers. Even though Axe is not so great for killing the tower itself, his presence alone is scary for the enemy defenders, which allows your teammates to siege the towers effectively. If ganking or pushing is not a viable option at the time, go back into the jungle and start farming camps. Since you'll be in the front lines tanking for the rest of the game, if you die a couple of times, you can fall off massively if you don't supplement yourself with these farming opportunities. Late game Axe is all about redirecting and absorbing damage. Since the cooldown on Berserker's Call is fairly short, You can initiate with it back out of the fight and re-taunt key targets. Your two roles is either to initiate and disable the enemy carries, or stay back and counter-initiate for your own team. Keep in mind that a successful Berserker's Call in the late game is similar to landing a huge reverse polarity or black hole. Because Axe is so tanky and that call has such a low cooldown, even if you mess one up, you can still be awesome for the rest of the team fight. Keep on looking for that magical jump call. I'm going to go over a standard Axe jungle game and also discuss my item choices. I start with Tangos, Stout Shield, and a Ring of Protection, with the intention of rushing Tranquils as soon as possible. I then jungle Axe with uber efficiency by correctly rotating between camps and stacking/farming when appropriate. If you're unsure how to do this exactly, I would suggest checking out my Axe jungle guide, which will be linked at the end of the video. I finally obtain my Blink Dagger around the 10-minute mark, and I immediately begin ganking. Regardless if you grab a kill or not, you're going to disrupt the lanes, which is important. I give the enemy team no rest. After jumping on the Naga mid and having her song port, I rotate to other lanes looking to tilt advantages in our team's favor. Although incessant ganking is good, make sure to pick out the key targets to focus on. In this game, I chose to focus on Naga to delay the Radiance rush as much as possible. But remember, it's not about kills, it's about objectives. I use wave cutting and the fact that I have Blink Dagger to begin pushing towers with the team. At this point of the game, I am simply one of the hardest heroes to kill. With some early good play, I obtain my Blade Mail and begin to snowball. Check it out. Although a wide variety of items on Axe are good, it seems like Blade Mail is almost always a safe choice after Blink Dagger. Notice how effective jumping in, initiating, calling Blade, pulling back out, and then reinitiating is when playing Axe. I find myself with tons of farm, so I shoot for an alt stick to enlarge my snowballing effect. Having a good early mid game, the map is now dark for the enemy team, and I take advantage of this non-stop. We end up team wiping an already emaciated enemy lineup, and then decide to push an early base. I finish the game with a ridiculous score, and everybody on the enemy team is angry at each other and sad. That's the bad thing about Axe. If you have a good game, you make other people sad. Time to wrap up with 3 Axe takeaways. Number 1. The more enemies that are hitting you, the more you spin. So stack those camps when jungling and try to call enemies next to their own creep waves. Number 2. Once you get Blink Dagger, stop farming and start ganking. Believe me, it's a lot more fun to dunk heroes than it is to jungle farm. And number 3, don't miss your calling blade. Learn the HP thresholds at each level, and maybe even go the extra step and adjust the tick intervals using the console command. Remember, the number is 125. And with that, I say, good day, sir. Hey guys, PhysicsMathMan here, relax, you're fine. So the qualifiers are now over and we'll be back on our normal schedule, so talk to you soon.